And we're live. Hello, and welcome to our gathering of heroes. These are the would-be heroes of the Marvel Universe, an actual play using the relatively new Marvel Multiverse 616 TTRPG system. As a warning, this is a game that can also explore mature themes, and while we'll be specifically avoiding some topics, the game may still include body horror, gore, violence, loss of character agency, gaslighting, mind control, or other topics. Our players have discussed consent and boundaries, and we collectively avoid situations that may be triggering. Players will always let me know if anything gets uncomfortable by using yellow and red cards in our private chat. If you as our viewer ever feel uncomfortable or triggered, please pause and step away. Our streams will be available on YouTube after the game, and you can always come back to an episode when you feel ready. 3 quick acknowledgements to Roll20, the official VTT, virtual tabletop of the Marvel Multiverse system. Demiplane, that connects TTRPG fans to make games better with high-quality tools enhancing the way games can be played, shared, and explored. And Marvel Comics, without which none of this would be possible. Let's do a quick round of introductions and to get to know our cast. Start with Adam.
Adam, better known all over the internet as Soulvine, _Soulvine in some places. Tonight I'll be playing Cal Winters, aka Dreadfire.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Pandora Beatrix. Tonight I will be playing Dr. Penelope Parature, aka Beholder. I apologize in advance.
Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia, also known as Nerdy Teddy all over the internet, and tonight I will be playing Shift, also known as Kelly Lancaster.
Glitch.
Hello everyone, I am Glitch, and tonight I will be playing Alexi, aka Anima.
Fantastic. Last we left
It's a
off.
different team. Fantastic.
Wrong team.
I mean, last we left off, we had some information from a casino leading the team to get momentarily distracted by another individual offering them a permanent headquarters. And then what did happen?
So,
Some poor guy tried to rob the donut shop at exactly the wrong time.
yeah.
And then everyone went to my place. And
There was some
It's
property
great.
destruction, and then we planned to have a plan.
There was planning. There was efforts to be made. I mean, Liberty Lass investigated something from her particular background, but almost didn't get away with it. And then there was planning. Planning and plotting of investigating the warehouse that was revealed by Benny at the casino. And then Anima took it upon themselves to fly straight to the casino ahead of everyone else, alone. Not,
You mean the warehouse. You said casino.
I mean, wow, Tafina? Wow. Nope.
You meant warehouse.
Maybe.
Like casino hotels, there could be
I'm not
casino
gonna do it.
warehouses.
We're so with it tonight.
Like you just
Here it's really kind of gray and the waves are pretty high, so it's good for if you're like a surfer, but otherwise there's a lot of mist and the better whale watching's in the summer. So, but the warehouse, where everyone else had decided to pursue and decide to, this is it, we're doing this thing and we're going to investigate this warehouse.
there's a very generous recap of our goal orientation I think like 85% of last session was us talking about whether or not we wanted to join a team and what that meant, and
I don't
also
think we
some
ever really
some
came to a
random stuff.
conclusive
No,
answer.
not at all. Really,
Also,
no.
if we should Uber. Yeah.
Yes, that was the one.
Ah, yeah. Right, of course.
Exactly. And because of that, either way, Alexei, Anima took it upon themselves to cut through that Gordian knot. And, fly straight.
Why drive when you could just fly?
I mean, to be fair, you've only been flying for like less than 24 hours, but
Listen, we don't need to talk about that. We don't gotta read that part out.
curious how you're gonna stop. But you know,
Warehouses have windows.
true.
Figure it out.
Stopping is the easy part. Yeah.
Except for when you're slamming into windows, but yeah, it's fine.
Cool. So, how much of the concept of the shapeshifting that we discussed, do you retain mental faculties? You're just you in a body, or do you kind of start thinking like a bird?
I retain some mental faculties, like still knows people and stuff like that, and still has like memory of everything, but can't like talk because that would be kind of weird.
Become a raven and maybe talk. Kinda. No.
Yeah.
No, just making sure you're not. It's not one of those weird polymorph D&D spells.
Nah.
Where you lose your mental faculty and you're flying around like a moth for an hour.
That would make for a pretty poor superhero. So,
Seen worse.
For a great one, who knows? Plausible deniability everywhere you go. I wasn't myself. I was a giraffe. All right, no. So I assume you had directions to the warehouse?
I don't think we ever discussed it,
Yeah.
but let's
I
just say
assume that
yes.
too.
Fair. I'm
Assuming
going to
yes?
assume you have. I'm assuming we're going to have a basic concept and understanding. Everybody looked at a map and going, "Oh, over there, okay."
We
Yeah.
use MapQuest.
You have an address. You have MapQuest. Not that you can use it when you're in a bird,
Yeah,
but
that like you look up for it.
Oh,
gotta-
print it
you
out,
gotta-
that's it.
you can do the stop, look at the phone, course correct, stop, look at the phone, etc. You make it to the warehouse, and it is in the warehouse district of the city. Generic warehouse district, aka plot central, and or bad guy crime central. There it is. It is a nondescript two-story building with equally nondescript buildings surrounding it, essentially. It's got a chain link fence around the perimeter. It has a number of cars within the fence itself, in the sort of a parking area. Has a shipping receiving area that is open to the road and to the public, and it has two tractor trailers backed up to it, but the bay has room for 5. So, but there doesn't seem to be any activity if you do a quick little circuit around the building. Not a lot of activity necessarily. There are a number of cars in the parking lot, and as you circle around, another one pulls into the parking area.
I think maybe after making kind of like a circle around the building, Alexi will find a place just to kind of land and then message everybody else and be like, place looks empty, but like cars are here, so weird.
I mean, there are lights on inside, but it's not, there's not a lot of activity. There's not a lot of shipping activity necessarily that you can see. but other than that, the two individuals come out of the car. One's carrying an empty-looking duffel bag, and another one. They look equally severe. I'm not going to say tough necessarily, because I mean everybody tries to look tough when they dress in ratted clothing and have more tattoo than skin coverage on their arms. And one guy's got like a red bandana on his head, white torn up T-shirt with the other guy's got like sport jersey, local sports team. Hashtag go Seahawks. And they're each carrying actually a duffel bag, but they don't look full, so they're just sort of like slung over the shoulder and sort of squished underneath the arm, sort of thing.
I think as the two are walking into the building, Alexi probably like snaps as close of a picture as they can, like zooming in all the way on the phone, takes a picture and is like, it definitely doesn't seem like regular dock work going on here, but I've been known to be wrong.
You have autofocus,
Dot
autoflash.
dot dot. Flash off. I feel like Alexi would have made that mistake before being an investigator at one point or another, because who doesn't make that
Being an
mistake?
investigator, you know how to not.
Yeah, no flash. Zooms in all the way, autofocus.
So you can get some pictures. You get a couple of shots basically as they open the door inside. You position yourself well enough that you are able to get a couple. And there seems to be a decent amount of activity going on inside. There are garage doors at the front of the building, which you're assuming, based upon what you can quickly see just by sort of getting a quick little peek, it's some kind of garage. There are cars inside, the state of which you're not entirely sure, but other than that, well lit inside, probably fluorescent lights. They have one individual who's a lot of shadow, basically because of the way the light was shining behind him. Large, muscular individual, and definitely weights sort of thing. He holds out an arm. His other arm is behind the door and looks back, muffle, says something, possibly confirms something, opens the door wider, tucks something behind his back. When he does so, the other two individuals that just arrived go in. They do some kind of a hand slap gesture of greeting, and the door shuts, blocking your view.
Alexi has enhanced senses too, right?
Yes.
Are they
Yeah.
able to hear any of that door?
I
closing?
was literally just about to ask, you were on the same train of thought as me.
What is the range on that here?
I believe heightened senses 2 is 4 times as far away as normal.
Okay. You get basically a conversation that more or less goes, "Hey, we're here for the pickup." Yeah, I know. Look, we just got it. Shit's been happening. Boss is busy. We can't be too careful. I know. Sort of thing. Hey, you expecting Donnie and Gus here, and it's quite muffled. They here for the regular, the 9 o'clock pick? Yeah, send them in. All right, boss says you're good. Hey, movement, tucks the gun behind again. They walk in. Nice to see you again, buddy. In they go. Door shuts.
Okay. Um,
But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because you have heightened senses, so I am going to also give you this. You hear the sound of a belt sander? A grinder of some kind? A metal, some kind of a metal grinder? That sort of intense, the things that would cause lots of sparks when you're sharpening an axe, maybe, or something like that. And a what are the little tiny circular saws called? Angle saws?
Angle grinders,
Uh,
something like that.
the smaller handheld saws that you can get in and do the
Yeah.
fine detailed cutting work of, say, vehicles that you wanted to, say, disassemble for parts.
okay. Um, then I definitely think Alexi would kind of relay all that information to the group. Just be like, this is what I can hear. And then I think Alexi would also message the group chat. I'm assuming Alexi's been added to the group chat at this point, hopefully. Um, and is like, do you guys want me to wait for you to get here before I try to go inside? Or
Well, I mean, does it look like there are openings on the outside where animals would typically be getting in? Because if not, then an animal inside will be out of place, and that might be bad. Um,
I like how you're not discouraging them. You're kind of like, think of an animal
I
that
don't
would
know.
be found inside a warehouse and go
I
in.
don't know the situation
That's
yet.
what I'm
Right?
hearing.
It's important plausibility questions.
How many can you comfortably take out by yourself?
I mean, if I change forms, I don't know, at least two or three, I think, maybe. I haven't tested this out yet, guys.
Yeah, wait.
All right, cool. And Alexi will be smart and actually wait for the group to get there then, because after that line of questioning, Alexi's like, yeah, I should probably wait.
What? Disappointing me, all of you. I'm kidding.
Sometimes we gotta make smart decisions.
It won't last. It's a fad.
I'll leave the back door open for you. No, that's it. Then crawling through an air vent. No. The rest of you were en route. Where would yeah, because I was sent to the group chat, so Kelly Lancaster would have gotten this group chat, basically going, "Hey, we're all heading to," and then at which point you're getting to the you're getting the exchange with Alexi, and you're realizing that Alexi is in fact at the warehouse.
Right.
So you could be on your way in a different direction.
Yeah. I want to say that she's like just getting back to town. Like she had to leave real quick, and she's just like came back, and she's like in a cab, like telling them like
Nice.
go stop like a block away from, you know, whatever address and however that, I've
Where Alexi is exactly?
like getting Like she wants to like tell the cab to like stop like a block away. She doesn't want to just pull outside the warehouse, but she wants to like stop near it.
That was a big part of our conversation last session.
Uh,
I think we ended
What
up going to like some nearby public place to the warehouses, and then we were gonna walk.
Yeah.
you sure you want out here? There's nothing around here. There's like a
Uh,
Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah, I'm meeting a friend. I'll be fine. Thank you.
Wow. Shade on Dunkin' Donuts. Rude.
Plus.
Um, lost another sponsor. All right, it's fine. I don't know. Dunkin' Donuts is a great place. So you make it there. So Anima, Alexei would meet at the donut shop essentially.
Yeah, I would probably like do that little like reconnaissance and then go meet where everybody agreed to meet.
In which form? I'm just wondering.
Yarrow.
I mean, if everybody was planning to walk over from Donut Shop to the warehouse, I feel like Alexei could just go in human form and be okay. Unless that's not fun enough for you, and then we can have her smack into another window if you want.
I'm happy with whatever you want, whatever mode of transportation you choose to take.
I mean, I feel like if they were planning to walk from the donut shop to the warehouse, Alexei probably for now would stick to human form.
Just like there was a TV show, one of those action 80s TV shows back in, oh God, 84, 85, somewhere in there. It was called Manimal.
Yeah, I was waiting for that word to come out of your mouth.
Literally this, and it was kind of the CGI for its time was amazing because they had like the whole bubbling skin thing and everything as this guy because he went
CGI,
kind of
a strong word.
Tribal quote ritual quote tribal whatever
Yes.
something mysticism something occult something
Yes.
could take the
Problematic in
form of other
various
animals,
ways.
but 99% of the time he was either a hawk or a panther.
Yeah, big kitty.
Occasionally, he took other forms, but very, 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 very rarely because I guess they couldn't train those animals.
Yeah, mostly animals that Hollywood has easy access to, trained wise.
Yep.
Mm.
So there was a panther and a hawk. But yeah, so. But it just reminded me because I was like, well, you could show up as an elephant, but
I was going to ask about that actually. Does shape change, like, do you have to buy the growth power separately in order to be animals that are bigger than your normal size and shrink
Well,
to be smaller?
we haven't figured that part out yet. Because
because I mean the way that they have like shift is like really weird amongst the power sets. So I didn't put it in as a power set since it's their base power.
Yep.
And my plan was to just kind of as we go along, every once in a while, Alexi has learned how to change into a new form, and it can get slightly more complicated over time. That was the most I had planned for it.
Arc Week is going to be super exciting.
Also that. But yeah, there's no real actual power set officially in the book.
Yeah, because like in order to get shift, you have to get disguise first, but that would make no sense if Alexi's base power is changing into the form of different animals already. So
There are a variety of things about the system that are somewhat sense challenged.
yeah,
Sponsor us, guys. But it's okay. It leaves room for us to use our
Be-
imaginations.
So the
Be
whole section
creative.
going, if you want to make your own power,
If you want to
Exactly.
make a whole book of powers that make more sense, you can do that.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this one's not the only one who does it. The way D&D does shifters is also really weird, just like base D&D. So, if you want to do something funky like that, you kind of have to like come up with your own rules to the discretion of the lovely dungeon master. So,
I was having this conversation the other day, actually. there are a lot of humanoids because lycanthropy can only infect humanoid creatures. So technically,
Mhm.
giants are giant creatures and they're not humanoids. But you could technically give lycanthropy, say werewolfism, to a grung
Yeah, that's right.
or a centaur.
I don't want to think about that. Moving on.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's a whole subreddit that probably already exists.
D&D advice from your Marvel Multiverse game. All right.
I was assuming it's
Multi-talent.
romance novels. Centaur
Mhm.
werewolves. It's better than vampires. It's fine.
Just looking at my stack
Yeah,
of Laurel K. Hamilton's.
yeah, no, I think Alexi probably would go in human form, but like if they were to get there before everybody else, they'd be kind of like hiding in the shadows, just kind of like leaning against a wall.
Try to be
Inconspicuous.
inauspicious
Yeah.
in a open late Dunkin' Donuts with halogen or lighting
Yeah.
or the fluorescent lighting of the
At least one of the fluorescent lights doesn't work anymore.
blink, 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 blink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the
Cool.
way only a private investigator could be standing somewhere and still look shady.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everyone else arrives at the Dunkin' Donuts.
So did did Alexi send the pictures that they took of the people?
Yes.
Okay. While we're getting there, I just wanted to like sort of look at them in the sense of, was there anything that any of them had in common that might hypothetically be some means of easy identification as belonging to Group X if you didn't happen to recognize a specific person?
Hmm.
Because this is the kind of thing that she always looks for when she's doing her,
Crew of
surveillance.
investigators here, which is the best part.
Gang people, because she needs to have a way to disguise herself appropriately before she can even get closer.
Physical powers, not so much. Fantastic, amazing, telekinetic, what have you, not so much. Investigation, we got it like 6 of you in various ways. It's great. What was the photo taken with? Just a phone?
Yeah, just like a regular like smartphone. I mean, if you want specifics, I think Alexi would have a Google Pixel because their cameras are amazing.
Sure.
But we don't have to get into that technically.
Like, not sponsored.
Hey, I have a Galaxy S23 Plus Ultra Super Hyper. I don't know. There's a bunch of words and symbols, but it has 100 megapixel camera and it takes 8K video. It has, look, I'm going to show you this ridiculous back. People remark on it. They're like, what is wrong with your phone? Why are there so many lenses? They do different things, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Alexi would have brought the usual private investigation gear to this, or just taking a picture real quick on a smartphone.
Decent enough pictures. You get the sense that if you were to pick these individuals off the street, or some of them, at least the two that showed up particularly, you would say they're probably in a gang together.
I had presumed, but I'm looking for something that would specifically suggest that to me. I hope you didn't see that. I'm gonna mention it anyway though, because I spit a whole bunch towards the webcam. But anyway, right, like looking for that detail that I would be able to use later to, if there was one, have some better chance of being accepted as a person who belongs there at cursory inspection.
Give me a logic check.
I shall do that.
First roll of the night.
That is a fantastic 14.
A fantastic 14.
I mean,
All
the other ones were 2s, so what are you gonna do?
That's okay. The fantastic is what I was hoping for, honestly. I'm going to give you that you managed to flick through because, if you're taking photos, you're getting a bunch of them. You want to get almost like a panoramic thing to get them all. And you get, or maybe it's beauty, or the combination of the two of you. You manage to stop on one particular photo that actually reveals a matching symbol to an arm tattoo on the other guy. So it not only identifies them as a gang, but I believe we called them the Southside Serpents.
That does seem familiar.
And they have the matching tattoo that you are familiar with. So it is, in fact, the Serpents, for these fellas, that came with their empty duffel bags to pick up a 9 o'clock shipment.
Okay. I will share that detail with the people in the car on the way, so everyone's on the same page. I mean, I guess, and Alexi. Did you see? Look.
Sorry, I just did love to point out. I love that every time we're like, "Oh, we're on the phone," we have to do this when we're doing it.
We're pantomiming the phone.
That is part of the fun of tabletop.
I like that we all agreed on this, though.
I mean, that the other shorthand is that when the GM tells you a bunch of information and then you're going to tell that same information to people, you go,
Oh.
and then saves a lot of time.
I mean,
anyway,
unless you want to play the telephone game and give them like the garbage.
Well, yeah. No, it's always a choice.
So as everyone gathers together at the Dunkin' Donuts,
Mm-hmm. Right. ... Check. Okay, so, is Shift there yet?
I will say yes.
Okay. Hey, I say. Penny, by the way, looks like a random, 5'6" brunette woman.
Right, yeah, because that's what it was last time.
You've never seen before.
We were working out a secret handshake, and then we decided it should be random, which I'm pretty sure means we'll never know what the secret handshake is. So it's sort of you have to text us every day.
It just and it's Penny because it's not any of the other very much more obvious individuals.
Me and Liberty Lass came up with a great idea, and it's that we can just put a worm on a string on your person at all times to tell that it's you. Worm on a string. I was given a bunch, and the idea popped into my head during Saturday when I was with our lovely Liberty Lass.
Okay.
And I think it'd be hilarious.
Sure.
If we're throwing out suggestions,
A worm on a string.
I will take it under advisement.
Yeah, just like have it like tucked into your like pockets.
It's really you. I've got the worm on a string.
Now you can never hit us with that. Plan to add.
To really mess with you, she plants the worm on a string on someone else.
That's the escape plan. Yeah.
Everyone starts talking to random homeless dude.
I mean, Penny is rarely whimsical. She did it that one time last session. But...
Except for the one time that she turned into Elvis, you mean? Yeah.
That wasn't whimsical. That was just...
It was a little whimsical.
It was just aesthetic.
It was a strategic aesthetic movement.
It's the best she could do at the time.
Like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Sure.
Necessary.
You know what? That's so valid. I'm assuming Penny has not changed looks since meeting at Alexi's place to.
That is correct. Same.
Cool.
Same
Okay.
nondescript woman.
Yeah.
Cool.
They
Okay.
are also largely together, minus Sans Liberty Eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like. I know Kelly's been a lot less lax about like hiding her secret identity than everybody else, but several times she has met everybody, or a couple of times now, has met everybody, and then they all ran off, and then,
Somebody else.
various superheroes showed up. I think she'd like have put together by now that it's not just a coincidence.
Got one of those faces. You see him everywhere.
Yes. Fair.
Also, you
Yeah,
said that, and I flashed back to every time Alexi has just changed into an animal in public. So, multiple times now. I don't think Alexi is worried about a secret identity. As far as I can tell for myself, at least.
Pretty sure there's even a trait for that. I believe it's called.
Is there?
Carry on.
I only got 4 traits down.
Yeah, so you were otherwise occupied. We got invited to a club. Technically, there was a clubhouse, but it got raided by Hydra. But there's going to be a new clubhouse, supposedly.
Oh,
We haven't been told where this new clubhouse is yet, though. So,
Probably a good thing.
I guess my place is temporary clubhouse until we get permanent clubhouse.
oh, okay.
I don't
Got
need to label
raided by
things.
Hydra? What happened? How did that happen?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, we barely know ourselves.
Okay.
It was a topic of some concern.
Yeah. It wasn't a
there's-
great sales pitch.
Yeah, there's some other folks that do the kind of stuff we've been doing, but I think they're way worse at it.
Or better, if like again they attracted the attention of Hydra.
I mean, there's either they're really good and they got the attention of Hydra, or they're really bad and they just let Hydra follow them around. I'm not sure which way to read that. Honestly,
Again, we did not get that much information to gauge what the scale is.
all we got so far is they
Yeah.
got an old rich guy. Like I don't.
Who knows who we all are? And that's about it. That's all we got.
Concerning, but okay.
I mean, that's part of it.
Still haven't decided if he was like recruiting us because we're good at what we do, or if he was recruiting us because we need to be watched.
Damage containment or something? Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't quite figured that part out yet either.
I mean, a little FLMA, a little.
I'm not sure where Liberty Last falls on the scale of responsible to needs a sitter, like in our group, like.
Well, I mean, she did just kind of break into a place on her own and do some property damage.
Yeah,
and then told us about it after, so
nudged the scale.
yeah.
Property damage is kind of our MO, though. I was more concerned with the fact that she dropped the bomb on us that there's like a powerful mega corporation hunting her, and then she brought over this rich guy that none of us had ever met before. And then,
Yeah, that too.
I mean, though that makes sense. Like that, like if you are trying to hide from a powerful mega corporation, then having a counter rich guy seems like a reasonable strategy.
well, that's valid as long as it's a different rich set of people, I suppose.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. They all know each other.
Hmm.
Rich people.
Is this the part where I tell you that I also have a corporation potentially hunting me?
I literally just said to you.
If it's true, then
This is
sure.
amazing.
Might as well get it out of the way.
Information to know beforehand.
Shift is sitting right here going, it's strange that Liberty Last character is getting hunted by a strange corporation. Strange.
I mean, I'm certainly not being hunted by a strange corporation. I'm not being hunted by anybody that I don't know who they are.
That was oddly specific and
If
also
I'm being hunted and I don't know it, there's a problem. I'm a private investigator.
I mean,
yes, that though I am being hunted by a corporation. Um, before I was shift, I was doing some investigation on them, and there was an accident, and now they would like me to
Come
be
back here.
more come back to them, building super weapons and all that. You don't want them just running off on their own, I guess.
Hmm.
uh, I'm gonna dig in a little bit. Super weapons?
Super soldiers, whatever. Yeah. That's what I think I found before my accident, and I guess I'm decent evidence that that's what they were doing.
Okay. Okay.
Again, good to know these things beforehand.
Is this the
Just
same
in
company?
case.
It was a different company. How many
Uh,
companies?
I mean, the company I was uh investigating is Chrysalis,
That
which
is
is
that,
owned by another corporation that you just told me, and I totally forgot the name of.
when you say you, do you mean Mike or us?
The Typhon Group.
The
Oh,
Typhon
Hyphen, that's
Group,
what it was.
yes. Yes, and but they're owned by the Typhon Group.
okay. I mean that so okay. That is the one that Liberty
That's
Lass
also,
mentioned.
yeah.
So
That's
okay. That
odd.
tracks, I guess.
So wait, who's hunting you? Penny.
I I said negative things.
What
No,
you
Penny
said
said
nobody
specifically
was.
is not being
Yeah,
hunted, or they would know.
I did not say that anyone was hunting me.
I misread. I thought you said nobody was hunting you that you did not know. And so I
That's
was like, who
correct. That
do
is a
you
negative
know
thing.
that
It
is
rules out
hunting
that
you?
one category of thing. I don't know why is this confusing.
Not a scientist.
No, I owned it up to that. I'm a scientist.
No, I mean I'm not a scientist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're the only scientist. So
As far as we know,
the rest of us share.
new stuff is coming up all the time. So
Well, you know I'm not. You guys were in my office. So that's pretty.
I mean, if you're a good enough scientist, you have like a secret door and a lab. Come on, I didn't do a thorough search of the place.
You wouldn't have found anything.
See, that
Certainly
level
not
of
if you're a good enough
confidence-
scientist.
I can't afford the rent on excavating out a secret lab.
I
Definitely can't
probably do lose your
afford those
deposit
prices.
if you
So
break through a wall.
yeah,
Mm.
and I can't afford to
Dig
pay
through
that back.
foundation. Yeah.
So
Well,
anyways,
um,
weird
okay.
warehouse.
Yeah. So the warehouse that we were going at, which is to say in the direction of, to at some point hypothetically in the future look at and or find information about and possibly steal things from and or hurt people, as often happens when we do things, is because we got information from
Benny.
what?
Benny.
Penny.
Is Benny was the guy at the casino?
Yeah.
Yes, good. That was the name I was trying to remember. Benny, at the casino that we went to, who said that is where the distribution of the glitter pixie sparkle whatever drug thing
Has
happened.
moved to.
Pardon?
Has moved to because something happened to their dockside stuff.
Yes.
Right. That's
Yes,
right.
is
Yeah.
the backup
Mhm.
hub.
Yeah.
So yes, that is why we were going there. But it behooves us to be careful about it because we don't want them to just move again, and then we'll just keep doing this forever and never actually find anything out.
Sure.
Kind of agreed on a loose association of motivations. In in the broader sense, we all want to get rid of the drugs. Some of us have more altruistic motivation. Some people are just curious, but that seemed to be the thing that we all decided we could do that would be good for everybody. In a nutshell. Hence the clubhouse.
Yeah.
I still don't feel the need to label it. It is just where you live and work, and we went there one time, so like that seems premature, honestly.
I mean, it was just a suggestion. I really don't
I mean, if you
care
like,
that
if
much.
you're basically asking us to move in with you, like,
No.
that's a whole conversation.
No. 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 My place can barely fit me.
I mean, that would be
So,
part of that conversation. It is not great.
yeah.
I mean, not that it's bad. It's just
No,
not,
it's bad.
felt
It's
not
no, it, no,
great.
you can say it's bad. I
Okay,
know
but I
my
wouldn't.
situation.
I wouldn't say it's bad.
We made it 1 week. We're already having team drama. See, this is why I wasn't sure about the whole team thing.
Even team is. It's another way
Again,
of trying
subjective because we never really came to a decision.
We did talk about it for a while. But
Oh yeah, for a long
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. But a decision being made? No.
yeah, that's
Decisions
decisions.
decisions are basically something that makes you responsible for things happening. And if we just don't do
No.
those, then instead things happen to us, and it's not
And we just so happen to
tech-
be there.
technically our fault. It's very ethically
Reactionary
malleable.
as opposed to proactive.
Look
Have
at that.
an official
Sounds
state.
like we're a team already.
You feel obligated to do the thing if you have a membership. You're invested into the thing.
Yes.
Moral of the story is we're gonna, drugs bad. We're gonna try and get rid of drugs. If you
Yeah.
come along.
Drugs make some people see weird things and turn others into giant monsters. Probably not great for the community.
And yeah, also change the color of part of your shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
Also
most
the
specific
still
weird part of this for me, science-wise.
still weird. No, still yes, I'm still weirded out about that too. I've been thinking about that a lot lately because why did a weird hallucination make a physical part of my clothing change?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is
weird.
that could just be because it was messing with you mentally, and you have powers that change things about you. So maybe they just messed with your powers a little bit, and you just changed the shape of your shoe color. I mean, technically, the color things is at a molecular level a shape. Science.
I mean, yeah.
What if you think real hard about turning your sweater red?
Like right now?
Why not?
Penny does that, and her sweater is red. I mean, she wasn't wearing a sweater before, but she is now, and it's red.
Yeah, I feel like Alexi would try it. It would not work because that is, you know.
Alexi's more of a puka than a an actual. It doesn't.
Yeah, like shapeshifting is like a whole genre, and then specific animals is like subgenre. So, is that a scientific test that we can say rules out that theory now? Is that
I don't think
that
so,
was
because
for?
again, like if it is something, if your powers are controlled mentally and something messes with your brain in an unpredictable way, then it could cause unpredictable things to happen to your powers that aren't normal. Like they aren't things you could normally do. They
Right.
just
No, that's a good point.
happened because you were messed up.
Maybe it's
The
like
same
a
way that
fear
like
response.
people's hearts normally don't beat like 200 beats per minute, but if you take some cocaine, then they can do that, and maybe you die. But
No, that's a fair point. I still don't like the implications of it, but it's a fair point.
yeah, I mean it is yet another reason why this stuff is bad.
Yeah. Point is not good. We should really figure out how to get this stuff like not on the streets.
We're really trying to find the source of it so that we can just stop it there
Yeah,
and then
cut it at the
not have to do anything else ever again.
source.
That's the overall plan. That is why we are sort of more investigating than just straight up, beating people up, because that will
Hole in a
just
china shop.
That will
into
just
the
be
warehouse. Yeah.
unending. Yeah.
We don't want to keep going to new locations every time. So
Yeah, makes sense.
we don't want to
Makes lots of
keep going
sense.
to new locations every time. Don't give me that look.
Gary doesn't get cranky. Feed him, so to speak.
Gary's wondering why you're not going in. Gary wants you to kill somebody. Come on.
Need some information.
I know where the drugs are going.
But yeah, they can't tell us if they're dead.
I was going.
Is your half of this conversation out loud?
Probably.
Yeah,
Just
you're
check-
saying
just
this to
checking.
yourself out loud, isn't it? Pretty cool.
It's relevant.
Yeah.
It's in your head.
Okay.
But he might be speaking out loud.
Yeah, I think he would probably at least semi out loud, like, you could tell he's talking to himself.
Through the clenched teeth of, shut up. Come on.
Yeah.
No, that was what I was asking. Yes.
Yeah, audible, but not like he's speaking to a crowd.
Everybody
I mean,
talks to themselves at one point or another.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Penny's not gonna throw stones here, so
No.
no reason we need to start asking questions about that.
Way better we don't know. So
Okay, so did you like do a circle of the building?
yeah, I did like a little wraparound of the building.
Okay.
It almost kind of seemed like the place was closed, but when they had the door open, definitely could tell there was stuff happening inside, and it was actually pretty busy in the building. And like I messaged you guys from the conversation I heard, definitely seemed like operations were going on there almost 24/7, that kind of a sketchy drug distribution place.
Did
So
you
I
see any
definitely
cameras?
No, not from what I didn't like stop in any of the windows. I literally just did a wraparound and then decided to
Well, I mean, just like
take
cameras on
pictures.
the outside, like looking
Oh,
at the parking lot and the
is
fence and stuff.
I'll throw that question to you. Did I see cameras outside the building?
Yeah, lots you check.
Oh boy.
Vigilance.
All right.
Vigilance. Vigilance.
Vigilance is better, and you have double edge because you have enhanced senses too.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, vigilance would probably be better. Okay. That is an 11. Yes,
You
with
got-
my +2.
Wow,
That's an 11.
Well, no, you would double edge like re-rolling 2 dice.
Oh, that's right. I can do that, huh?
Yeah,
Hold on. Let me re-roll too.
and yeah, with an 11, probably should.
Yeah, okay. Thankfully, I have 2 separate dice. Both of these are worse.
Wow. Well, you don't have to take the worst ones, fortunately.
So we'll stick
Still-
with the 11, I
Still an
think.
11, but that's cool.
I never said my dice liked me.
It's fine.
It was dark.
So we'll go with the 11.
You saw one on the outside, above the door. Probably a standard motion sensor. Excuse me. Generic. You're not sure whether or not there's anything inside, but there's one that you know of on the outside. And you didn't think of it, but I mean, logically, if there is one on the outside, then there's probably ones on the at the back where the shipping is because of safety. So there's likely one at all points of egress to the outside.
Okay. Yes, I saw at least one camera.
Hung out so often or so much time at the front door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then I'll relay that to the group. I saw one camera, so I'm assuming there are more on the outside. I definitely saw the one though, so.
Okay. So that makes things a little trickier. Yeah, I don't think I can do that yet. Well, we could check maybe if there's like if there's any sewer access to the building, or if there's, I don't know if they like warehouses are like regular buildings where they have to file plans at various places. We could also no, that's probably a bad idea. I don't know. Yeah. I was sort of thinking like a duck blind, or we just get a panel van and paint the side to look like the inside of the fence and whatever's past it, and then sit there watching. But you'd have to get it there, and then it's a very confusing thing. Right. Okay. So I don't. Okay, we can do this at least for starters. So we know that people come on a regular basis to pick up drugs in order to take them out and sell them. We don't know yet what the exact schedule or frequency of those visits is, which will be important if at some point we are going to attempt to pose as people doing this thing in order to get inside. We can also keep watching more, maybe to see if other kinds of people go in and out for any reasons, so that there can be other avenues for infiltration. It's just for people who can't, look like innocuous animals. We have to do it from further away.
Also, there could be, I mean, we know they're doing shady stuff, but they could very well be doing some kind of legitimate business too. Everybody that walks in there might not be a bad guy, so to speak. I mean, probably in the middle of the night, but
sure. Well, were there vehicles in the parking lot at all?
About,
Yes.
Pardon?
about 6.
Okay.
I heard yes about 6 cars. Is that correct? Yeah. I mean, if somebody has a GoPro, we could strap a camera to me while I fly in.
I mean,
That was the only thing I could think of.
I don't right now, but I can definitely buy one. I'm pretty sure they have them at Best Buy.
I mean, I have one. It's handy sometimes for journalist stuff.
Okay. We will probably have to rig up some sort of flight compatible harness. But that sounds like a thing that someone with the inventor trait can do.
How heavy is the GoPro?
Oh, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
GoPros are usually pretty lightweight, aren't they? Because they're so
Well,
cheap.
I mean, they're like half metal. I don't have a good sense of how much things weigh. Like my GoPro is
6 ounces.
Yeah.
Did you look it up? Okay, sure.
They're not
I was
that
gonna
heavy,
say about
surprisingly.
as much as this rubber stopper, which was gonna not help you.
How much would you say that rubber stomper weighs?
Yeah, about as much as a GoPro, I think.
And I mean, a GoPro is nothing compared to the giant bag of money I carried the other day.
Well, carried is a
So,
strong word. Fell a short distance with, I think, is probably a more accurate description of what happened
I
there.
carried
Okay.
it across the room
Well,
ish.
I am gonna throw this out here is that you could. Well, maybe you couldn't. I don't know. How does it work? Can you be a bigger bird, or just that one kind of bird?
With enough practice, I could probably do another bird.
Okay, but not right away.
I'm still
Well, also, bigger bird means more obvious.
Well, I
true.
mean, yeah, but it's like a seagull or a pigeon, whatever. Something something that you see around here on a not infrequent basis, which is true, right? We're in
It's our
Seattle.
mechanic.
We're in Seattle. There's a Dunkin' Donuts nearby. They got to be stocking that place.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we're West Coast, so there are a lot of seagulls.
I could think of another bird that I could turn into, and if I get enough practice by the time we are actually wanting to go in, I could try. I could do that.
Hmm.
Don't laugh at me.
Well, I mean,
Snowy egret has a wingspan of
not knowing the time frame of that exactly, we could just like buy a quadcopter or something. I don't know if they sell those at Best Buy. I've never had occasion to buy one.
Neither have I, so I don't know.
Those are kind of noisy, though, aren't they?
I mean, depending on how close they get.
I mean, I suppose they're in the chop shop, so it's gonna be noisy anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's probably hard to see from the outside.
yeah, did hear a lot of machinery when I was in there, so
And usually, external cameras on buildings, I imagine, are angled slightly down. But it depends on how tall they are, I guess, and because cameras are cheap these days, so they can just make a big wide angle one. I don't know. I am not a building security professional.
So was this place like right on the water? Is it?
no.
It's anyways. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, we said like warehouse, like district type thingy.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a feel for how many doors, entrances.
We can also, let's see, take pictures of all the license plates of the cars in the parking lot, and then go commit various crimes later. Or I guess ask for favors from people who will abuse authority, which is a form of crime, but one that's rarely punished. Um,
I feel like
yeah, we can't really put like tracking devices on the cars until they leave the parking lot. We would also need a tracking device.
Mm.
But like Apple sells
pretty sure
those
you
now
actually
because
can
we
buy those
we
at
live in
Best
a
Buy.
dystopia. Yeah. Um, it's slightly more risky option, but it can be useful in terms of figuring out the boundaries of a situation. Is to sort of well, it's sort of like animal testing. It's except it's on a building and a bunch of people in it. You expose them to various stimuli, and then see how they react, right? Until you figure out like what sets of stimuli mostly get ignored,
You're
and what ones.
suggesting that you turn the warehouse into a giant Skinner box?
Sure. I mean, I don't have to turn it. Everything is a Skinner box. You just have to look at it in the right way. But yeah, I mean, this might be as simple as like, you know, dropping a rock on a window from a great height by a small bird, just to see, like, what do they do
like
when a
that.
rock hits their window? Like, what do they do when there's a pizza delivery they didn't order?
Yeah, I like this plan. Although we probably
Might get a
shouldn't send
pizza
an
delivery
actual-
person hurt. I don't want to.
I would say, yeah, don't send the actual pizza, but you could be a pizza delivery person.
I could, but the
Yeah,
whole
that's true.
thrust of this plan, you see, is to know what's dangerous before we do it, rather than just trying a thing that might be dangerous, especially when that danger applies to me.
Well, that's fair. I just, yeah, I wouldn't put that on the pizza delivery person.
No, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think we probably shouldn't involve innocent civilians if we can avoid.
I like your line of thinking though, because if nothing else, we'll find out how many people come running around with guns.
Do we know any local restaurants that are run by organized crime? So they wouldn't technically be innocent, or
deliver?
Hang on. Wait, I just remembered I have a thing. Is this something that I could potentially know because I have the connections trait?
Who are your connections?
I was thinking because with connections it can be a few different things, and so I was thinking partially love-hate relationship with like local police force, and then since private investigator put like the community, a lot of like connections through the community, and there's organized crime in communities. Am I jumping the gun? This was just, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I have connections.
you're definitely making connections with words.
I mean, in a broad stroke, that is basically how that works. Cal has connections to military people.
Yeah, because it says connections could be reporter, police officer, politician, mobster, so on.
Yeah, Penny has a connection that she didn't pay for, so it only works in one direction. She gives them information.
It does say that the trait can be selected multiple times using many different types. These include celebrities, community, criminal, espionage, military, outsiders, police, professional, sources, superheroes, and so on.
So given that criminal is a type, community probably doesn't cover it then.
Yeah, I mean, we've established Alexi's not exactly a model citizen in every way, so I feel like Alexi could potentially maybe have at least one small little organized crime group connection, if that is allowed.
You hit that window intentionally.
Just a little one, Mr. GM, as a tree.
You're doing it. Please and thank you.
Got a single mafia boss in their back pocket.
Now we're talking about the grow shrink power again.
My only reluctance is to name a particular restaurant because at that point I'm throwing that restaurant under the bus and linking it in the fictional world to organized crime.
Or it actually
wait,
and you're throwing yourself under the bus.
Do they have Chick-fil-A's in Seattle? Because there are definitely some restaurants that have lost ontological ethical protections.
Fair. You know what?
I mean, you're not wrong, but we could make up a restaurant name.
That's also true.
And then no one gets criminally implicated.
There, in fact, is a Chick-fil-A in Seattle. I am now throwing it under the bus.
Turkey
I'm okay with doing this.
Our people. Okay. Good allies in that sense. So Chick-fil-A is fine.
Cool.
So that's it.
Unfortunately, Chick-fil-A does not deliver. So that won't work then.
Fuck them just for that. No, wait.
Yeah, if we're thinking pizza place, we may just have to come up with a nondescript random pizza place name.
They do deliver.
Chick-fil-A delivers? Well, no, it's just a link to DoorDash or something.
Drive-through.
It's not their people, I'm pretty sure. That's what I mean. So they would technically probably be innocent.
Yeah, you're probably getting DoorDashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it was run by organized crime, the random delivery people who work there might not know or be criminals. So this is all a terrible plan. But
if this line of thought doesn't work, one of them is also community. So maybe I could know someone who was in organized crime and no longer is, or something
Oh,
like
a
that.
reformed person who's a community leader now. That is
One name.
definitely a Marvel backstory.
That is a legitimate Seattle backstory. The
So
Frank Colacurcio, Colacurcio, was actually a mobster in the 1950s and has a whole crime-based family in Seattle, Washington. Mind you, most of it is through escort agencies and strip clubs, but there was a bit of a money racket.
So I mean, yeah, I just a little treat, please.
Filet now, so look at that, 2-1. If I disappear and don't show up next week, you know why. The Chick-fil-A people got me.
If Chick-fil-A tries to kidnap you, I will come rescue you. Don't worry. I won't let Chick-fil-A get away with this.
No.
You know you'll be safe on Sundays.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
Let's see. Okay.
What-
Well, so we can hold off. We can hold off on the the experiments that involve
Invasion.
human beings who aren't in the building,
parties,
say,
yeah.
just as a category.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to go down my train of thought. It was just something I threw out there because I remembered I had a thing.
No, yeah.
And I feel like I haven't used any of my
definitely-
traits.
It's definitely getting complicated, though.
You could also just make a bunch of noise on like one side of the place and then watch from the other side of the place.
Yeah. I mean, different kinds of noises too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, ideally to be, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be perfectly realistic, but to be scientifically sound, we'd want to get like some sort of like, I don't know, portable loudspeaker thing, and then play various sounds through it at different times, like a car backfiring or an actual gunshot, or
Do that.
somebody shooting a gun into a car's exhaust.
That's very
There's a
specific.
variety of sounds that can be made.
I would be impressed if they could recognize that from inside the building.
I mean, it would tell us a lot.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
I like how everyone's just accepting this uncritically. That's good. That is.
Listen,
that
I
is
gave my
as it
idea.
should be. Yes. No, it's fine. So yes. This is fun. So, assuming that there's anyone in the Twitch, when this airs, other than us, I want you to play a fun game called Guess Where We're Going with This. We'll tell you later. It's fine now.
I'm on board with the plan of make noises, see what happens.
Okay. Well, but the thing is that in order to do this without, like, how frequently the noises happen, like how close to each other, is going to be part of the results. And it seems like my priors for that are that a bunch of noises close together, even if they are innocuous, will tend to further excite their level of interest more than it would if it just sort of happened and nothing had happened for a while, right?
Also, I think they're gonna have to be real loud, right? Given the environment that they're in.
That's the thing. We need to know,
Yeah.
like, what level of sound can they actually hear and respond to.
And respond to you, yeah.
Once we know a sound they do respond to, then we could just like lower it gradually, I guess. But that also is, eventually these things are gonna form a pattern that someone inside thinking about things at all will recognize as someone is fucking with them.
Mhm.
Or
How they react,
or
to
they
that
will
could
recognize
also
it as
be-
science, but that seems less likely.
I would be
think that-
surprised if they recognized it as
The
science.
people that decided to grind up a weird piece of glass and snort it, probably not scientists.
They had a lab, right? Like drug people have labs. Like,
That's fair.
Yeah, but I
they
don't
know
think
they
that
know
means-
certain amounts of applied science at the very least.
Yeah.
Shoot begrudgingly.
I don't want to give the drug dealers too much credit though.
I mean, it is being smart is not a defense against being evil. Sometimes more the opposite.
Hmm.
I guess that is why they're called supervillains. But
Well, normally I think they're called supervillains because they can like melt volcanoes with their brain or whatever.
well, I mean, I feel like some supervillains have been considered supervillains because of how smart they are. But I think it's
I mean, being really smart is apparently a thing that can be one of those things instead of melting things.
I think
that seems like a reach to me, but
Don't
I
volcanoes
think
melt
it
themselves?
depends. I think it depends on who you ask, though. So this
say
is
it's a
all.
dormant volcano. Okay.
Screw with the bad guys. I like this plan.
Well, yeah, except that was a counterexample, right? That was me saying that if they notice that happening, then their behavior will change, and probably not in a way that is good for us and what we are doing. Like they will
Yeah.
be more vigilant and maybe have a patrol outside, and
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
And we don't want them to get smarter,
If they're that scared or that paranoid based upon previous events, they may just pack up and leave.
It's true.
which we
It's
also
true.
don't want.
Although that would be great, though, honestly, because then you could just
A bit
like
of NIMBYism, but
hire like 20 people off of Fiverr or whatever to like throw rocks at most warehouses every day, and then they
Put
would
a
never be
flash
able to do
mob
business. They'd be
all
constantly
over the
moving.
warehouse district. Yeah.
I don't think listen, I think there's a lot of things that Gideon might say yes to, but I don't think that is one of them because that is
Just
not financially sound.
just don't give them the
It's
details.
Fiverr.
Tell them it's for cover. It's just we need a smoke screen to operate. To initiate planned warehouse.
But if we're doing this every day,
Well, I mean,
All
if
on
you could
plan.
spend, say, I mean, we're talking what? If it's like 20 people and they're each gonna, spend whatever amount of time people are willing to do a thing for $5 for, and then like there aren't that many warehouses, right? Like this is it can't possibly be more than $1,000 a day. Um, and to someone of his wealth, that's ridiculous toilet paper money, right? He's gonna be like, why are you even asking? We have that in a bucket in the front. I guess. I don't know.
not in a swear jar. I don't know.
Still a little concerned about getting the people on Fiverr shot though.
Oh no, yeah, okay. See, that was the thought, is that if they, because we make it super public, right? It's just clear. Like we pretend like it's an art thing or something. I don't know. We put it in the paper, like bunches of people being hired to throw rocks that aren't damaging at windows of warehouses. What does this mean? What does it symbolize? They're certainly not people you need to shoot in the face. That might make them suspicious in the article, but
and what does this accomplish exactly?
oh,
We
this was
lost
under the
that a long time
yeah,
ago.
yeah, this was under the theory that if we caused enough disruption, they would just move their place of operations again, and that if that was true and consistent, then by disrupting all locations that are really accessible to crime organizations, then they would have to leave the city, I guess, which is I mean, it's a minor solution as far as
I mean, it's better
it's not a problem
for
for us anymore, but
but it doesn't really solve the problem. It just kind of moves it.
yeah, and I would feel kind of bad if we just offloaded this problem onto another state where they might not have superheroes.
And what if they just go to the suburbs? I mean, isn't that still our problem, really?
I mean,
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
like that either. My parents live
I
in
don't
the
know what's
suburbs.
happening in the suburbs, so if it is, I'm
But I
doing a
just
bad
don't know.
job.
Yeah, I don't know how many people like us there are running around. I mean, there's probably a radius that
I mean, I assume it's proportional to population density, so
Either way, I would feel bad if we just offloaded this problem onto someone else. So,
yeah. Um, Although it's possible that the source of the stuff is in fact in the city. in which case they would not be able to leave the city. And that
Yeah.
would tell us something if we could
Well,
eventually infer, like, they would have left by now if they could have. But that's a very complicated way of learning that thing, which honestly
And I
could
feel, yeah,
probably
I
be
feel
learned
like,
easily by beating people up instead. But
yeah, I feel like that would take longer than we have to like wait to see how they react to the rocks being
well,
thrown at their
that's
every day.
that's the thing, is that we don't technically have a deadline. It's just the
The
harm to
sooner we
victory
get rid
is a
of drug,
it's
the
a constant
better.
it's a constant level, right? Yes. So
yeah, there's
So,
people
yeah.
dying, but
sooner is better.
something you just said, they've been moving a lot of product. All these shards we've seen so far have been, yay big or something.
Yeah.
Either they found a really big one, or they've got a way to find more.
Yeah.
Or they're just using a little bit and they're diluting it with something else.
Even still,
Yeah. Because quite a bit, from what I understand, has been distributed already. So that infers to me that they have a way to find more, or a huge thing of it
Well, maybe
that can
it's
last
so,
them.
like, the stuff that was on you just sort of did it just disappear, or did it get
Yeah,
absorbed into your skin? Can we tell the difference from that?
I don't know, and now I'm slightly terrified
No, it's good to be
again.
concerned. It's good to be concerned.
you haven't turned into a rock monster or a talking alligator, so you're probably all right. But
No, but a physical part of my clothing has changed.
maybe it absorbed into your shoes.
That's still concerning.
I mean, that would be great, because
I
we can
also really
we can
like these
definitely do
shoes.
it. Do it. Oh well, okay, that's less good, but I can
Yeah.
definitely buy you identical shoes in the
Well,
name
not
of
with the
science.
white stripe though. It's
There
they're
are
one of a
Etsy
kind
people.
now.
There have to be that are local. Like, we can get this done. This is just logistics, because just a sample of the stuff, really, that's already in powder form, even if it's in shoes, like, that's just an extra step. We can figure that out.
I mean, I guess if you want to test that, I'd begrudgingly be okay with that.
But anyway, my whole theory that I came up with, and that was the thrust of this particular line of rambly questioning, is that maybe the crystal stuff uh, isn't actually chemically reactive, right? It doesn't go away. It doesn't get turned into other things. It just is itself, right? So when you digest it and it's just hanging on your stomach, it's doing a different thing than when it gets put on your skin, right? But either way, it doesn't go, well, it doesn't change. It is always itself, right? But it does go places, because eventually the effects end, or I guess you become a rock thing, and we don't talk about
Well,
that.
because I
So
do remember we'd also talked about the theory of it affecting people who are already genetically inclined to be different, aka all of us, than
sure,
it would a random
that
civilian.
also possible, yes. But the upshot of all of this is that maybe it is a closed system, which means that the dust, once it is, say, worked itself through a person, enters the wastewater system. And then maybe they, like, collect it. They just have they're recollecting it from wastewater,
Recycling.
and then putting it back out into the world, it's drug recycling.
I mean, I appreciate the green approach, but I'm not sure that out of character, do we know anything about what Penny can actually do other than look like other people? Like, have we talked about any of those things?
Penny has definitely taken very large damaging effects without being damaged even in the slightest. In fact, she seemed kind of peppier afterwards. But
Refreshed.
that's about it.
Yeah.
And he has a keen eye for observation.
Oh no, she did do the she has suddenly gotten stronger or faster or things. She's done that a few times.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could. I mean, obviously they're making the stuff in there, at least some of it, or storing a bunch of it. But I got to thinking if it is a big shard, like it would be good to know if that's where they were keeping it.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? That's another thing that we can learn just by long-term surveillance is that does anything, in fact, get delivered? Because if this is just like a distribution area and it's being made somewhere else, then the stuff will be getting delivered. If this is a production area, but there's still a raw material that comes from somewhere else, that may be getting delivered. And if nothing is ever coming in, then that means that the whatever it is in there, or at least the in there has access to it. Like again, it could be underground or something. But this is gonna. I mean, a lot of this is gonna take time, right? Because it depends on how often it happens. Here's a question. Like, how is, in session, like, there's a word for it that I want to say out loud that my brain doesn't know right now. Just time skip is what I'm thinking about. There's a word for it. It's fine. But like, so we're like, okay, we're gonna do this for, a few days, and then you like give us the vague sense of what that gets us thing. Is that a thing that you want to support here, or is that between sessions thing?
We could absolutely do that. Fast forward.
Sure. That's better, but that still wasn't the word. Montage. That's
Montage.
it. Surveillance montage. Yeah, I knew it was a video term. Okay.
3 days.
So, what?
3 days later.
Yeah. So obviously we've been writing down all these ideas as we go, both in character and out of character. We're very smart people.
You guys wanted notes on that too?
No, this is me being ironic. It's okay. Is there anything else that we want to add to that list of things that we're, looking to include in our suite of activities over the next
I think I would
several
like to know
days?
how many people are in there, how many people come and go, what the average armament of these people is, what are the entrances, exits, and does it seem to be populated with a lot of people we would rather not get beat up and or shot at if we decide to ingress?
So, I mean, part of these answers could be solved by, like, going in and bird form, flying around, leaving as quickly as possible and not interacting.
Also, I can just get vaguely close to the building and know how many people are in there. And sometimes if they have, metahuman abilities, but
So can you see the shard?
The what now?
The shard? The glass?
No. I mean, unless it's a person made of that, I guess. It's only people. I'm not sure what it is exactly, honestly, that is being detected here. It is like, but it's definitely people is what it boils down to. Like, it could just be particular kinds of chemical reactions that are notable for some reason. But yes, that is the information that I get.
Well, I mean, that might be useful to know too if they got some.
So we could do that, and then if we want like a lay of like the inside of it, I could then at that point. Birds get into random buildings all the time on accident.
Yeah, I mean, if someone was going to infiltrate, that would probably be a helpful like side run in the sense that I can say if anybody is near particular sides of the building, right? But I can't. But unless I how big is this warehouse?
Let's give you a $5,000 square feet. I don't know, not that big. No, yeah, that would be because
I don't have a good sense. So that's like, uh,
Because if it's that 5,000 square feet would make a little more sense. If it's like a chop shop type thing where they're bringing in vehicles and tearing them apart, you would need bigger space.
so like 70 feet by 70 feet ish, right? That's roughly it because it'd be like 4,900. Is that right? Did my brain do it right? I mean,
Rob.
we all literally have computers right in front of us that can do this math, and we're not using them. It's okay though because this is part of the game and it's
Good
fun.
to keep it in practice. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's right. So 70 feet, and in the very rigorous and detailed mechanics of the 616 system, a space is 5 feet. Is that just what we said, or is it actually written down? Either way,
Space is 5 feet.
okay, a space is 5 feet, right? So, and how big is the parking lot? Like, how much space is there around, like, between the fence and the building?
10, 15 feet.
So not much. Okay.
Not a lot.
So yes. So the entire building is in my range, for doing this thing.
Sure.
Even with me being some distance away, because it's 500 feet.
Cool.
Ideally, though, again, I'd want to be far enough away that I'm not obviously loitering on any cameras that are pointed in that direction. I do have the advantage that, like, every time I do this, I can look like literally someone else.
Someone else, yeah.
So that's slightly less suspicious. But that's a good thing. We do really need a way of signaling you when you are being an animal that does not have access to your phone. So like if I needed to warn you about a thing that I was like, uh-oh, there are dots that are people going close to the dot that is you. I don't have a way of doing that while you're an animal. But that is a problem we can solve. Yeah, easily, not easily. I mean, easy for me.
I mean, really, I feel like a dog whistle would solve half that problem because most of the time I take the form of a wolf.
Sort of a binary
But
communication system, but sure. I was thinking more like I would design a custom built like
okay. No,
little harness thing that would have a camera and a small, very small speaker.
You know what? I like that idea better.
Yeah.
So no, let's do
I don't know how that will work.
We'll figure it out.
So you turn into a small bird and we put the harness on you. What happens if you change back with it on you? Does it just explode into pieces of harness, or are you not able to turn back because it's stopping you, or does it just disappear the way your stuff disappears when you turn into an animal? Can you store stuff in your bird?
This is a lot of questions that I don't think.
Like Penny has this look on her face, is very excited because she has discovered new science that can be poked at. Like, this is highly exploitable.
And Alexi is just lost, just going, I don't know.
And is the place where the stuff gets stored, if it's stored in your animals, different spaces for each animal, right? So if you were what was the other one? A wolf? You said a wolf, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was a wolf, and we say just sort of load the wolf down with a bunch of heavy things, right? So it would be very uncomfortable for you for a minute, right? And then you turn to a bird, and all that stuff goes away, right? And then you fly as a bird high over something, turn into a wolf briefly, wolf starts falling, all the heavy things start falling, turn back into a bird and leave. That is a way to carry heavy things and drop them. See? And that is just one of many theoretical applications of this new science.
That sounds highly dangerous for my being, seeing as how
I mean, you can test it out before we. Not going to do it in like combat.
I'm still trying to get the flying down.
So you don't have like instinctive things when you turn into an animal?
Are you sure
I mean,
for Acme science?
Very base senses, yeah, but like, yeah, no, I've had to like a baby bird has to learn how to fly. I've had to learn how to navigate with wings instead of feet.
I see.
And I crashed into a window the other day, so clearly that's not going well for me.
I mean, that happens to regular birds all the time who grow up being birds. So that's irrelevant.
We get her
That
journal
would
in a twin elephant, strap a giant magnet to her, and she turns into a tiny bird. Somehow the magnet disappears, physics, flies over a gigantic scrapyard, and then, I don't know, instantaneously gets pulled down by the sheer force of the magnet attraction to the. Anyway.
What you mean? What if things that are stored in her animal hammer space, or are still like physically active? Then that brings the whole cell phone thing right back into the debate. Like if magnetism can penetrate that dimensional barrier, then so can microwaves.
You have an ant crawling across the table, suddenly goes. "Brrr, brrr, brrr."
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
these are
not
things to write
thinking,
down.
not
But
thinking of the implications behind this is now kicking me in the butt.
Lancaster's like, I am out.
Alexi's just lost. They don't know how to answer any of these questions.
well, the answer is experimentation. One of the steps of science. Oh, and to answer your question, Cal, it wasn't a question really, it was more of a comment. But the company that I work for highly incentivizes innovation and
Hashtag one.
caution and safety is sort of a distant fourth. Cost effectiveness, I think, is
Oh.
higher than that even.
Okay.
Acme. Well,
What's the name of that? What's the name of that corporation in Better Off Ted?
I haven't watched enough of it to remember. Tell us in the chat, and then think really hard about it going backwards in time. Didn't work on me.
Very
I'm gonna
dynamics.
I'm gonna point out that, like, I apologized in the intros. Remember that?
You did.
Like,
That's fair.
Why
You
did she apologize? Why is she apologizing and then just not explaining that? Well, now you know. This is where I am mentally. So
Viridian dynamics. Yeah.
Viridian?
Viridian dynamics.
Okay.
I recommend the show highly because they are completely, absolutely unethically evil.
I did get that impression.
The entire sitcom is basically Ted, the eponymous character, basically just being a mid-level schmuck in a corporation that no one thinks about just how evil their inventions are. They just seem as a matter of course. However,
so that seems like a longer term project though to figure out the exploiting the capabilities of your shifting ability, and not super relevant to the immediate surveillance task that we have before us.
Yeah, that's probably something I would have to.
Ball bearing.
This tangent did come up though because of a relevant idea, which was the whole harness thing.
Yeah.
Like we need to.
I mean,
find out what's going to happen if something is wrapped around you when you are small and then you become big.
I feel like for precaution's sake, until we can accurately test this out, we would probably just need to take the harness off of me before I change back.
Yeah, but that would obviously be the safest plan, but emergencies come
for
up,
now, until
right?
we figure out the logistics of this, I have people I
Yes.
can talk to them.
I did not want to put you in a
but I can't
situation
answer
where you don't have a choice but to do this dangerous experiment, right, in a combat situation because you need to change and you have a thing on you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then also at the same time, I could just fly away.
One would hope, but I can think of at least 400 reasons that you would be prohibited from doing that in various dangerous situations.
400?
That's an estimate. It's an order of magnitude estimate.
All right.
For Fermi numbers.
Okay. Well,
but I have a solution anyway, because I am already doing science on a harness, right? We will just make it respond to a particular pattern of bird chirps, and then it will fall off. Which, it would be a shame to lose it, but it would be safer for you.
yeah, worst case scenario, if I have to lose it, I lose it.
It's not a question of how it grips it.
What? No, that's a harness.
It's a harness. It
The
would go
word harness from the get-go is
under
a
the
thing
wings,
that is
like
that is
around.
worn, right? Like there's no carrying. It's like the bird is not a,
I
yeah.
feel like a tiny enough harness could be made.
Tiny little
This-
arts.
This is this is what we do. Like
Oh, we could just put it on, take
making
a rubber band and put it on my GoPro.
well, because that doesn't have the speaker to give them like status updates
And also, I
emergency
feel
alerts.
like the rubber band would not hold. That's the word I wanted to use.
This is why I don't do science.
Fair.
Let's see. Yeah. So,
But also, it's for simplicity's sake, I can just fly in, scope out the inside, fly out, and then
Well,
change back to tell you the information.
Use your
But- that's the problem, right? Is that the simplicity is what I'm trying to guard against because so there's a thing called the planning fallacy that we all do when we are making a plan to do something that involves multiple steps, and we all assume that each step is going to go, about how we'd expect, normal, right? But the more steps there are, the more chance at least one of them is not going to do that. Even if it's a small chance of not doing that, it's not going to do that, right? So when you say simple, like you are imagining a no problem process, whereas I am thinking of on the order of 400 problems. So I'm trying to solve them all in advance. And this is why I'm bad at this. Like,
But I mean,
I'm not really
I walked into a Walmart and seen birds hanging up and the rafts and stuff. So it's not that uncommon to
Well,
happen.
that's
so I feel
that's
like I
the
could get
question,
away
right?
with it.
Yeah, I've seen that in Costco, right? But I think that's because the doors are constantly opening and closing, and not just that they have random openings in the building. But maybe they do. I don't know how they build these places. Like it seems climate controlled in there. It would have to be sort of sealed, right? I don't know.
Who wants to do a stakeout?
I mean, me. We're in the assess and organize our capabilities for the stakeout stage of the plan. Based on a rough estimate of how that is going, we should be ready for the stakeout sometime in June.
We have
Yeah,
12.
that's what I was afraid of.
I could also just pick up a rock in bird form and chuck it out a window.
Okay, so
That is only one step of the test, though, right? Because this is the problem: is it's a series. One rock by itself is not going to tell us that much.
how about we find a rooftop, we set up some cameras, and we actually start watching the place and go from there.
That
I mean, sure, we can definitely start doing some of these things while we think of other things.
yeah,
Except for the fact that
plan as we go.
sort of obligates Mike to think of things for us, or means we won't think of anything. Like,
But I mean, we've
logistically
already
speaking.
thought of a few things. We just have to decide if we want to
I
actually do
I
those
like the
things.
camera plan. I like the rock plan. The fly in and tell us what's in there is a good plan. I think there's a lot of good plans.
And it all amounts to about 12% of a plan.
Execution.
I see. So here, I'm going to throw out one of the 400. Say that this place is involving, at the very least, packaging, right, of this stuff. So when you have basically a powder, right, and you're packaging it on a large scale, some of it is going to get tossed up into the air and stuff, right? So like going in as a bird and flying around, you may be like flying through a cloud of drug stuff. And maybe they have ways of making it, like maybe they're wearing masks that they have determined to actually filter this out.
Does your tolerance change when you go to a bird? Like if
No,
you drank a beer and then you turn into a sparrow, do you get like hammered?
I don't know if I want to know the answer to that one.
If you're gonna fly through drugs, it might be important.
I mean, my first guess is that the stomach beer just goes into person hammer space, right? And it just, that problem gets waved away.
I've
That's kind
just
of
found out that I can turn into animals, so I have no
Oh,
answers to any of these questions.
I mean, you definitely shouldn't fly drunk. I think that's a bad idea, but
Yeah, probably.
Hashtag.
I say.
Okay. So sure. So what we should do? Do you have like really like good telephoto camera stuff like far away? I presume whatever.
Um,
I mean I'm like I have a I have a PhD in optics, but I these are the words I'm using because here we are.
I
Uh,
I um I have I
Invest.
have some stuff and I have some connections to people who definitely have more and better equipment.
okay.
And I have a decent quality camera.
Yeah, I just wanted to see like if this was going to be extra logistics or if it's something that we could simply just grab right away and then come back and
We can
find a
definitely
suitable
grab and start setting up, yeah.
place. So what we would need, I guess, for this stage of this immediate activation of the plan is to figure out what building to do this on top of, which is an entirely different set of problems. But most of them are waved away if we can find a building that is legitimately disused, like not active, maybe not owned, like maybe a bank owns it because it got foreclosed. It's like nothing is happening there. That is the kind of roof that we could just use, right? Um, that is probably something we can maybe figure out just by walking around and or somebody
Mm.
committing computer crime. I guess I don't know how
Can
the
I
records are.
do some searching on my computer to see if I can pull up some
Absolutely.
nearby abandoned buildings?
After
Uh,
moments of digging, you find one. Give me a vigilance check anyway, because you haven't rolled anything yet today.
8.
8. Wow, that's low.
Yeah, I rolled 1, a 4, and a 2.
But the one was not a marble die.
No.
And oh well. 8. So it takes you a few minutes then, because you kind of get stuck on a couple of websites that are like, "Hey, do you want us to, do you want to log in?" And it's sort of you have to sort of circumnavigate those in order to get to the pop-ups. You have to get rid of those in order to get to the other thing, and then your McAfee kicks in and it's like, "Hey, do you want to update? Your computer is not safe right now, and
Ad block, ad block,
you're
ad
using the
block.
public Wi-Fi, and this is a concern." And it starts off doing his auto thing, and you have to turn that off, and it kind of messes you up. And then you get into the website, and you sort of start down this small rabbit hole, and you start looking at other places, and like, no, I got to go back to the. And it takes all of about 10 minutes, give or take, to dig around and find warehouses in this district immediate area, within a certain block radius. There's one that's kitty corner to like not directly across the street, but down and around another corner. It faces the front of the building. You can see the front of this building, the building you want, but it's not one building over, but the next. So there's a bit of a range issue, but
We'd be
What?
able to see and potentially get the lenses to be able to watch.
yeah, you could sort of maneuver around. You can get two different views of the front entrance. Possibly three if you go up on a radio, one of those radio towers, and climb up a bit and sort of hang on that thing. So
Is it within 500 feet?
yes.
Okay.
Because plot.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
So is that the plan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go set up on the roof.
And then, targets of science opportunity.
Climb a random unoccupied building, set up cameras, do some surveillance for the rest of the evening to find out what's going on with that, just what you may or may not be up against, and gratuitous use of extra powers, etc. Excellent. So let's take a quick break. Now we've got that all sorted out. And come back in 5 or so, get some hydration, bring some snacks back for the rest of us, and we will see what comes of the stakeout. And we're back. And the team has 12% of a plan. They've decided to they've decided to stake out more accurately and using higher grade surveillance equipment, possibly strapped at a later date to a sparrow, in order to not so much infiltrate as simply to observe, watch, and sort of see if they can get a sense of what everything is going on in that warehouse without actually going into the warehouse or endangering any of themselves. So far, so good? Cool. For the ease of convenience, we can say that getting onto the top of the building wasn't terribly difficult, if a bit sort of making sure that any adjoining buildings didn't have cameras pointed in that direction in that particular spot that you wanted to use as a point to climb up. For the ease of narrative, we're going to say there's a fire escape, because there kind of has to be one if you're going to be building it anyway, which, with a certain degree of convincing, the new owner will have to deal with that later. Shift can easily crank a metal bar out of the way in order to allow the ladder to come down, etc., etc. You all climb up with your particular assembled gear in tow and take positions and set up your equipment and wait. Anybody doing a donut run? What's going on?
Well,
We brought him with us.
excuse me. It's possible that we are. I mean, since this is going to be hypothetically a longer term project, that we are taking shifts, not just like camping up here. Because Penny is not camping up there. Penny has a job. So
Also that. But more to the point, specifically for Penny, because Penny has that fancy little power, give me a vigilance check.
absolutely. We can do better than that.
Doesn't work in 1 inch of lead, though. I can't imagine why you would have 1 inch of lead.
Oh, if we're talking about the thing I discussed before, I don't have that.
Okay.
Yeah, I need one more to get that because I
Right,
went
I
and
remember.
I counted on the attendance thing to make because I missed one early on, so I'm one behind everybody else. So should I still be making that? I'm doing the ESP thing, right? So
Yep. And the ESP reveals to you individuals as well as possible powers they may or may not have,
indeed,
and their general state of health.
yes, it reveals whether or not they have powers, and if I get a fantastic success on the thing, then it will give me the
The deeds. Cool.
origin of those powers. It's still vague. Well, that's slightly better. So I got a 16.
Cool. Fantastic.
No.
Yeah. Over the course of the next, say, hour and a half, the two individuals, you noted the two individuals leave. Alexi, Anima points out that those are, in fact, they look like the two guys, and you, with your also your enhanced senses, you can confirm that these are the same guys. Hey, they still have tattoos on the same side, etc., etc. Another 45 minutes or so later, another car comes up. You get another look inside, and you sort of, over the course of the next, say, 3 hours of time, you watch as one every hour, maybe hour and a half, another car comes in. You get 2 or 3 cars in and out. And from there, you kind of get enough of a look inside that you, and with your ESP, because you've got range, you have a number of individuals. You don't know exactly where they are in that sense, but
I actually do.
a sense that there's a dozen individuals in the building.
Okay.
Relatively, I guess, healthy, I guess. No superpowers.
Okay.
We like to hear that. We like to hear that. That makes our jobs a million times easier.
I like to hear that.
I mean, guns are still a superpower, but
Well, I mean, yeah, but like,
what I want to clarify is me not knowing the positions of the things a thing you have changed about how ESP works?
Oh, does
or
do that?
it does say that, yes.
Oh.
Locations is specifically in there. Because I was willing to accept that they had
My
something
mistake.
weird going on where I wasn't getting full readings, but
No, that's my mistake. ESP. Sense the presence. No, location at Joe's house. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you have one individual on the inside by the door. You have a gathering, usually over the course of the hour or so. If the individuals kind of move around, kind of you're watching almost like a almost like watching them on an anthill sort of thing. There's usually a group of 3 individuals that doesn't really move and hasn't moved for the past 3 hours. There's another group off to another side of 2, and then another group fairly close to them of another 2. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 individuals coming and going, and then 2 at the back by the loading ramps and the loading bays.
Garage door thing. Okay. Is all of this on like the ground level?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You did say there were 2 stories, huh?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes warehouses are tall, but sometimes they have a thing, right?
Just spacious.
Okay, so I will obviously relate all that. Do you have more montage stuff, or are we caught up into doing things again?
Basically caught up.
Okay.
You don't really learn that much more. As you know, it goes because we're talking evening before into the night, and sort of as the early morning 2, 3 a.m. or so comes around, no activity other than
Okay.
dudes in the.
So there were a couple of questions that we asked before. Did anyone, in fact, ever bring anything in that we saw enter from the outside, or was it just empty duffels and things going out?
They left with stuff. The
Right.
duffel bags were fuller when they left than when they came in.
Okay.
They did not, in
Well,
fact, you didn't notice anyone who came in this evening carrying anything to deliver.
Okay. So I, keep taking notes on all of this. I was thinking that the presumption is that they are coming to pick up drugs and then take them to distribute them, which means that once they get inside, they are getting the drugs from somewhere or someone. So I should be able to sort of trace the paths of the dots moving when somebody
that's
comes
fair.
in from the outside. Like, so if somebody's coming up to them and then they stay in the same place and then they leave with drugs, then where did that dot come from? Like, sort of just try to get a general idea that, like, if there are drugs in here, they are probably in that corner or whatever.
That's fair. The progression for the 2 individuals, the pairs that come in, go up to the meet with the 1 individual at the door. They go in. They go to the group of 3 first.
The one that's not rarely moving?
That one that hasn't moved.
Okay.
Briefly, 2 minutes, 5 minutes there, and then they move to one of the 2 groups of 2, and it's different both times. It alternate actually. The first one went to one, second one went to another, and the third one went to the first one again.
Okay.
And then exit.
Okay.
The whole process for the actual stay takes half hour to an hour. Most of the time spent at the table with the 2, or at the another group with 2 individuals.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously relating this to everyone else.
So if the first group is muscle, then presumably the other groups is the pickup. Maybe a workstation? If there's more than one, you think there's more than one shard in there?
I mean, the people who rarely move could be like people who are putting drugs in small baggies as one sees on TV shows. I don't know if that is how that works in real life. And so they're going to that place to pick up the drugs that have been prepared and are in outgoing drug bins, or again, however that works. But it also, there's probably a step in this process where they are dropping off money to someone more responsible than themselves.
Mm.
So that could also be the first one. Those three could be money counters, and the drugs are coming from the other pairs of people. Hard to distinguish those two possibilities right now.
I mean, we were told that there was like a lot of the sounds that Alexi heard was stuff that sounded like heavy machinery that may need to be operated by more than one person.
That's true. That's true.
So that could be what those groups of two are, is it's very heavy machinery that has to be at least two people to a thing.
Yeah, it's some of the activity in there we know does not actually directly involve drugs.
Yeah.
They're doing car stuff. Some people are doing car stuff.
Yeah. At the very least as a cover, if nothing else.
You know, it's a bad day
So.
when the chop shop is the cover.
Yeah, well, we are talking about the same people who distribute drugs that turn people into giant monsters. So chop shop is nothing compared to that. I think I'd rather get caught at an illegal chop shop than caught selling drugs that turn people into giant rock monsters. So
Monster.
that's just me personally, though.
No, it seems legit. Okay. Did the people who are arriving, they arrived in their own car or on foot? Okay. Is there a like gate in the fence, or is there an
Yes.
open place that cars can just drive through?
Yes.
Okay. Did they get out and open the gate, or was it
It was open.
powered? Pardon?
It was open.
Okay, so there is a gate, but it's not closed, and they just drove through.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, did at any point any of the cars in the parking lot get used by people coming out?
Nope.
Okay. Mm. Okay. So, so that's not a terrible opportunity to, I mean, it's not helpful for a direct thing. Like, the people who are coming to pick up drugs, like, they park outside and they go inside for some amount of time, which means that their car is, aside from the cameras, largely unattended and could be messed with in various ways, tracking or whatever. But that is only going to tell us things we already know about drug distribution, I guess.
Yeah. It would be different if it was stuff getting delivered, but
yeah. I mean,
so
we could.
still.
So at at some point, assuming that they are collecting cash money, for the drugs, that money is going to be taken out of this building in order to give to someone who will make it useful, whatever, money laundering, I guess, that thing.
Makes sense.
So that might not happen very often. It really depends on how good a business they're doing, I guess, and what their risk tolerance is for storing a bunch of cash locally.
Yeah, I mean they probably don't use Bank of America.
Though, it does occur to me that if a rival criminal organization found out that a bunch of cash was being stored here, they might mount an expedition of some kind, which would qualify as a distraction for scientific purposes, stimuli, but also maybe a distraction in the sense of, making it easier for us to get more close information without being noticed because we're not actively messing with them
it's a little easier for someone to sneak in if the distraction is
A
crime
rival gang
war.
shooting at them, yeah.
Well, that is assuming that part of the distraction doesn't become the building being on fire.
Well,
Like, I like going loud, but that's a little loud.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also that would be you'd better get everything that you hope to get from this right now because they're definitely going to move if they survive, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that we need that much more information. We know they're making the stuff here. It ain't coming from anywhere else.
Well, at least not on the timescale that we've looked at, which is even less than a day. Like, if I was setting up a, chemical processing line, I would definitely have storage for more than a day's worth of operations. That's just silly. So we don't know that part yet.
That still begs the question: do they have one really big shot or a bunch of small ones? Because if they're getting lots of small ones, I'm fascinated with how they're doing that and why.
I mean, we could intercept one of these cars leaving and see if they know anything.
We could. We'd have to do it like pretty far away from here so that this would not be a reason for them to move
Car chase.
locations.
And let's be honest, how much more information would they know that someone like, say, Benny, for some reason, didn't?
Well, like they specifically are going in and out of this place on a regular basis, so might be able to give more detailed information than Benny, who has he's involved at a high level, but who knows how often he actually visits. I forget what we asked Benny. And when I say we, I mean you. Okay. So did we ask specifically where the source of the drugs is coming from? Just because that's ambiguous. Like the distribution center is a place they are coming from. It could be in addition to other places, but
well, he also didn't seem to really know much else. This was
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everything came from.
Yeah, he seemed to only know about the one warehouse that it was being distributed from. And when we pressed for more information, he panically told us he knew nothing else. So,
Other than the mouse's name.
That's right. He did give us
Ink.
what was it?
That's right.
Ink.
Ink,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
On
I
account
just
tattoos.
we won't know how much more they know unless we actually find out.
It's true. We're just talking about possible, costs of trying that plan as we do.
Also, find out by kicking the door in.
That
I
also
mean,
has costs.
That too.
I can do either one. I can stop a car or I can tear a door off.
In our long-term visual surveillance of the building, were we able to see, like with the telephoto camera, if there are any bird compatible ingresses?
Not. I mean, if they left the garage,
aside from when they open the door to go in and out, which is not great.
I mean, if they left the garage door open long enough, a bird might get in. There might have been a bird that got in before. Like in second story windows. You break one, a bird might get in.
Well, I meant already existing without us having to do anything to the building itself. But yes.
You did not sense any other life forms other than the people. Possibly rats. Small rats.
Okay.
Regular rats. Yeah.
Regular rats.
Clarify.
Average size rats. Which is to say the size of chihuahuas. But
Well, and also, yeah, along that like same vein of thought, if they did want to do Stakeout longer, this is Alexi's job, so Alexi has nowhere to be.
I mean, I'll even give you seagull nest on the roof.
Yeah, so like Alexi could wait until a garage door opened and fly in if need be.
Problem with that plan is if they close the door,
You're stuck inside
you can't leave.
as a sparrow, which I'm fine. I'm here for. It's fine.
We could figure it out as we go, but I'm not just gonna start making a plan that nobody else is going to back.
You
I
say
mean, that
you
is
don't
one
want
of
to
the
wing it.
400 again.
I was gonna make that joke earlier, so thank you for making it for me, because I forgot.
Well, yeah. So, see, that's a problem. So okay. So if we follow some of the people who are leaving, who have collected drugs, assault them far enough away that it's not directly connected to the building, but then if we ask them questions specifically about the building and its contents, it's sort of the same thing. It gives it away, right?
Yeah.
So they would have to not come back or
Yeah.
not remember anything. I don't have any way of erasing people's memories. That would be super
No.
problematic.
Yeah.
We can tie him up. We don't need him to stay that way forever.
It's true, but that then does put sort of a clock on how long we have, because they never show up again. That will be a thing that will, in some way, alarm the people in the building.
That then leads to the same path of they would up and just move their
Yeah,
operations.
well, maybe. Again, we don't know what level of stimulus is going to do that.
I think if we're going to do something, having a clock on when doesn't necessarily hamper us too much.
Well, it just limits how much more surveillance we can do to learn things like put a bigger upper bound on, is any material being brought into the building on a less frequent cycle than a couple of hours. I feel like there should be an easier way to do some of this stuff.
How long would be an appropriate sample size to eliminate the possibility that they're shipping in material?
To eliminate? Infinity? Like, you can only establish, an upper bound and a smaller and smaller probability of, stuff being brought in.
We went hunting for bears and we found a bear cave. And we're looking at the bear cave like we don't know what to do with it. I'm not against being cautious, but if we're talking about letting them continue to pump this stuff all over the city for a week,
Yeah,
2 weeks,
I mean,
like
technically,
Yeah.
we're hunting bear moms, I think, or like, but it's still okay to hunt these bears also, because they are cocaine bears, or like green weird glitter cocaine. I did not say the word magic. I said ma.
the evil glitter bears. Here's one.
Care Bears have a glowing tummy.
So okay, I feel like if we do that, if we go try one of the groups coming out, that should basically be the prelude to us going into the building.
Yeah.
Because then
I
clock
agree.
doesn't matter.
Once you
It's time to
start-
go.
That's
And
yeah.
maybe we get some useful tactical stuff right before then, which would be great.
And while we're in there
Everybody has
potentially, yeah.
time to react, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the groups coming and going, was it ever the same people or always different people coming in and out?
Six different individuals.
So yeah. So at least a few hour time frame of they will not be missed. Well, unless they're checking in by cell phone, but we can find that out quickly when we start to interrogate them. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, can anyone think of anything useful to do before we do that? other than longer and longer periods of surveillance and putting upper bounds on things.
No. No, I say we just go after the next people that leave. What more information are we going to get sitting here?
Okay, so here's a question:
Mhm.
How are we going to do that? We don't have a car.
That sounds like an everybody else problem because I can fly.
Okay, but you know, I'm
So
just
Can
saying.
it fly as fast as a Chevrolet though? I mean,
okay, well, I feel like I could keep up enough to at least kind of track where the car is going. Maybe, potentially,
I mean,
possibly.
fly, I guess.
worst case. No, that's wrong. Worst plausible case, you lose them and then come back, and we just go in without interrogating extra people. Actual worst case, you die in a lot of different ways, and probably the world explodes. The scope just keeps expanding.
I really
That's
can
a
we stop
very,
coming up with
very
worst case scenarios
yeah.
for me?
It's a bad phrase. It's a bad phrase. I'm just
So if our plan is to hit this car, see if we can get some more tactical information, and then go from there to the building, we don't want to be too far away. Do we know which are they? Do the cars leave like in a pattern? Like, do they go the same direction when they turn out, or?
I mean, they turn out when they turn into the parking lot, or when they turn out of the parking lot, they go back the same way, but then, 2 or 3 blocks down, they deviate out to wherever else they're going.
is the warehouse district just like on the edge of the city? One
It's
presumes,
a
since
smack
property
down.
values are higher in the middle, or what?
It's slightly south of the downtown core, sort of thing, if I remember
Okay.
the map correctly, and it's sort of just.
I mean, 3 blocks. I mean, potentially, if we're fast, and we not too loud, is potentially going to be far enough that we're not going to get a lot of reaction out of the people in the warehouse, but we'll be
That's
close
true.
enough
So
to
if they,
react. So we could just camp at that 3 block and wait for them.
That's all
Worst
true.
case scenario, the guy's outside here or something. But if we split up, some of us stop the car, some of us take out the goons outside simultaneously. Nobody to report anything.
wait, were there goons outside? I thought there's an goon inside.
At least there was somebody somewhere that was checking the door or something.
Yeah, I
like
thought it was
that.
inside the door.
Oh, okay. I thought he was outside. I misheard.
I'm
Never
I'm
mind.
asking. I
Also, for reference, a sparrow can fly from 17 to 30 miles per hour, sustainedly, apparently, for up to probably 5 hours of time, which in Canadian is upwards of possibly up to almost 50 kilometers an hour, which is average driving speed in a residential area.
So my plan wasn't that off.
Not off, but it's
Maybe not sound in practice, but
if they have any distance to drive, it's doomed to failure. Unless you're paying very close attention to exactly what car you're on and you're following into the city traffic.
I mean,
There will be
they could just land on the car and ride like a sparrow. Is
ooh,
probably not
hear
going to
me-
be super noticeable.
hear me out. I go sit on the car that whoever comes in next comes out of, and when they leave, you will know which car it is because I will be sitting on top of the car in bird form.
that can't possibly go wrong.
40.
Birds hang out on top of cars all the time. It's fine. I have
I'm here for this.
we're just tossing out ideas. I'm trying to be helpful to the team.
No,
here.
it's a good idea.
I 100% support this plan.
It saves the landing issue.
The dent in the car.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Okay.
it was a rank top.
I assume that none of the cars that left went like directly past the building we happen to be on, right? Okay. Yeah. I think uh we want to go with a combo of Shift's idea and Alexi's. So we're going to anticipate where we think they will probably drive, and then also have Alexi there just in case that is wrong, so that we can try to recover.
Cool. We have a plan. Catch some drug dealer after they pick up their nefarious product. Hopefully learn something more from them
Maybe.
in order to
Fingers crossed.
accomplish the possibility of stopping them.
Yes, immediate tactical information prior to going into the building and
Bull in a china shop.
causing violence, I guess.
Ministering justice.
Sure.
Eating souls. I mean, what? Said,
Yeah.
where are the other drugs going? Yeah. All right. Then here might be a good point to call it, to refresh, to get a good night's sleep, get the battle ready, be enthusiastic for the hour. All right. So, will our heroes be successful? Tune in next week. Let's do a quick roundtable to let everybody know who you are, where you can be found, what you're up to. Let's start this one with Dora.
I am Pandora Beatrix. I can be found in most socials at Pandora Beatrix. This includes YouTube and Dystopia Burb and Blue Sky, and I think TikTok. The Instagram is at Pandora Tricks. Most of the time I spend on the Modus Files, a Fallout 76 podcast. I also do a bunch of stage acting. Well, mostly I do auditioning for stage acting, and other voice acting stuff that you will not have heard. It's very niche. I sleep too. I do that. You should probably move to someone else. You're
Adam.
not moving. Okay.
Hi, I'm Adam. I've been Dreadfire, Cal Winters tonight. You can find me most places on the internet at Soulbind, Twitter and TikTok, _Soulbind. When I'm not here, you can find me playing D&D on Twitch and YouTube at High Rock Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Sophia. Also known as Nerdy Teddy. You can find me at various social medias as Nerdy Teddy, and check out Nerds with Dice for plenty of products. I'm the CEO Chancellor over there, and check out Power Rangers Monster Force coming to the Bardic Inspiration Network. And see you next time.
Glitch.
Hello, everyone. I am Glitch. You can find me on most things as Glitched Productions. The only one I think that's different is my Etsy, which is Glitched Crafts, but I might have changed it. I don't know at this point in time yet. And Twitter as Glitch and Co. Not that I'm ever on Twitter or X anymore. So, I mostly do a lot of my cosplay stuff on Instagram and TikTok. I'm doing a lot of that right now and working on my Etsy shop and potentially a voice acting resume.
You're right. And I am slowly learning that if I just give the right incentive, then they'll completely talk right over me and I don't even have to do anything. The entire episode, almost. So, bless. No. I can be found my pre and post COVID cosplay adventures at Canadian Captain America on Instagram and TikTok, CDN Cap America on the Sky apps and the Blue apps, the Bird apps. And this is my pet project du jour. And it has been quite an adventure learning the various techs and learning how to do all the back end distribution and the back post-production stuff. And we hope you're enjoying it. I have thoroughly enjoyed playing with each and every one of these individuals because they bring something fantastic to the table. And once we wrap the team into one big group, once I can get them to actually join it to the rest, it'll be a even bigger mess, I guess. I don't know. Other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Keep your stick on the ice, etc., etc. And we will see you next week.